The site where the Ark of the Covenant was known to have been stored in Israel for 2 decades is about to be excavated for the very first time.
Scientists have just revealed what may be the legendary Ark of the Covenant, and the discovery is nothing short of astonishing. For thousands of years, the Ark was believed to be lost, hidden somewhere within Jerusalem, its fate wrapped in mystery. Now, in what researchers are calling a groundbreaking breakthrough, evidence has emerged that could point to one of history's most sought-after relics. It almost sounds impossible. For centuries, legends and myths sent explorers on dangerous quests from Ethiopia to Ireland, all searching for the lost Ark. But what if the truth was never that far away? What if it had been concealed much closer than anyone ever expected? The Ark, long believed to house the divine presence of God among the Israelites, vanished from historical records ages ago, leaving behind only speculation, scripture, and unanswered questions. Today, with the help of modern science and advanced research techniques, we may finally be standing at the edge of a revelation that could uncover the Ark's true secrets once and for all. Many researchers now believe they may have located the Ark's final resting place. One of the most widely discussed claims comes from explorer Ron Wyatt, who asserted that he discovered the Ark buried beneath the ancient ruins of Jerusalem's old city. According to Wyatt, the site didn't just contain the Ark itself, but also the original stone tablets of the Ten Commandments. Historical records tell us that after the Israelites fled Egypt and settled in the Promised Land, the Ark was placed inside Solomon's Temple, the most sacred site in Jerusalem. For centuries, it remained at the heart of Israelite worship. But everything changed around 600 years before the birth of Jesus. Jerusalem was thrown into chaos when King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon invaded the city. The attack left much of Jerusalem in ruins, including its holiest structures. Solomon's temple was destroyed, and from that moment on, the Ark vanished from history. But did it truly disappear? Or did it survive the destruction, hidden away before the city fell? And if so, where has it been concealed for all these centuries? In this exploration, we'll take a closer look at the claims, the evidence, and the history surrounding one of the greatest mysteries of the ancient world, the lost Ark of the Covenant. A revelation that, if proven true, could rewrite everything we think we know about history. The fall of Solomon's Temple marked a turning point that still echoes through time. It was during the Babylonian invasion that the Ark vanished from historical records. From that moment on, its fate became one of history's greatest mysteries, lost to time and buried beneath centuries of speculation. As Babylonian forces closed in on Jerusalem, they constructed massive siege walls around the city, completely cutting it off from the outside world. To survive, the Israelites developed a hidden network of underground tunnels, allowing them to move quietly and safely beneath the city. These passageways served as vital escape routes and supply lines during the siege. Remarkably, many of these ancient tunnels still exist today. Archaeologists exploring them have uncovered a range of artifacts, some of which have fueled new theories suggesting that these tunnels may lead to the Ark's final hiding place. Could the Ark of the Covenant have been concealed deep underground in a sealed chamber? Some experts believe this is entirely possible. One of the most well-known claims comes from Ron Wyatt, who said he discovered a hidden, long-forgotten chamber beneath the ancient ruins of Jerusalem, sealed off for centuries. Wyatt, however, is far from the only one. Over the years, numerous explorers and researchers have come forward, each claiming to have found the lost Ark. Yet the question remains, why does this matter so deeply? The Ark of the Covenant is not just another ancient artifact. It is considered one of the holiest objects in human history, especially within Jewish tradition. The possibility that it could finally be found has captivated people across the world. Still, the most important question remains. If the Ark were discovered, would it truly match the descriptions found in the Bible? For scientists, the first step would be verification, determining whether the object genuinely belonged to the Israelites or if it is simply one of many ornate chests crafted by ancient cultures in the region. If the Ark were ever revealed, It would be an awe-inspiring moment, one that echoes the powerful biblical stories associated with this legendary object. According to Scripture, the ark was made entirely of pure gold, inside and out, with intricate gold detailing lining its edges. Its lid, known as the mercy seat, is believed to be a true masterpiece of ancient craftsmanship. If the Ark of the Covenant were ever revealed to the world, it would rank among the most astonishing discoveries in human history, one with the power to reshape everything we think we know about the ancient past. The moment the Ark was opened felt like unlocking a chapter of history preserved in time. What lay inside was breathtaking. The intricate detail, the brilliant gold work, and the overwhelming presence of the sacred object left everyone in stunned silence. It was a moment few ever imagined they would witness firsthand. Resting atop the ark's lid were two golden cherubim, angelic figures with wings outstretched, facing one another and focusing on the space between them. The mercy seat. This was far more than decorative art. It carried profound spiritual significance and was considered the holiest part of the entire ark. Every element of the ark's design was deliberate. Along its sides were 4 golden rings, 2 on each side, created to hold carrying poles made of acacia wood and overlaid with pure gold. These poles were never meant to be removed, ensuring the ark could always be transported with the respect and reverence it demanded. As scientists carefully opened the ark, the room filled with awe and anticipation. All eyes were fixed on what lay inside, waiting to see if the legendary contents described in ancient scriptures were truly there. According to tradition, the Ark of the Covenant contained 3 sacred items, each rich with spiritual meaning. The first were the stone tablets of the 10 Commandments, believed to be the very laws given to Moses by God. These tablets represent a moral foundation that has endured for generations, shaping belief systems across history. The second item was Aaron's staff, a powerful symbol of divine authority and leadership. According to Scripture, the staff miraculously blossomed, serving as a sign that Aaron had been chosen by God to serve as high priest. Lastly, there was a golden jar of manna, the miraculous food that sustained the Israelites during their long journey through the wilderness. It stood as a powerful reminder of divine care and provision during their most desperate moments. When scientists finally gazed upon the stone tablets of the 10 Commandments, they were filled with awe. It was a moment that reinforced the belief that these laws were never meant to fade with time. They were intended to endure, a permanent foundation of moral truth. The symbolism was unmistakable. The presence of the commandments inside the ark reflected the eternal and unchanging nature of divine law. Yet the Ark of the Covenant was more than a collection of sacred objects. It represented something far greater, the presence of God among His people. Each item within the ark carried profound meaning. The second set of stone tablets symbolized righteousness under the covenant established in the Old Testament. In contrast, the first set, shattered by Moses when the Israelites turned to worship the golden calf, represented humanity's failure to uphold God's law. The jar of manna, once again, stood as a reminder of God's provision. It contained the mysterious nourishment that sustained the Israelites in the wilderness, food they survived on, even when they could not fully understand where it came from or how it worked. Later, when Jesus miraculously fed 5,000 people, He pointed back to this divine provision, revealing a much deeper spiritual truth. If the Ark of the Covenant has truly been found, it would stand as one of the most extraordinary discoveries in history, uniquely linking faith, ancient history, and spiritual mystery in a powerful and unforgettable way. Jesus expanded on this truth through His teachings. He explained that the true bread from heaven was not the manna given in the time of Moses, but what comes directly from the Father. He identified Himself as the bread of life, sent from heaven to give life to the world. Another astonishing event followed. By the next morning, Aaron's staff had miraculously sprouted buds, bloomed with flowers, and even produced ripe almonds. This unmistakable sign confirmed God's divine choice of the Levites as his priestly line and established Aaron's leadership beyond all doubt. As scientists examined the Ark of the Covenant more closely, one feature stood out above all others: the mercy seat. This golden cover, placed atop the Ark, held profound spiritual significance in ancient Israel. In biblical times, once a year, the high priest entered the Holy of Holies and sprinkled the blood of a sacrificial animal onto the mercy seat. This sacred act symbolized atonement, a covering of the people's sins and the restoration of their relationship with God. This ancient ritual pointed forward to a far greater act of atonement, the sacrifice of Jesus Christ. Just as the blood on the mercy seat stood between God's law and his presence, the blood of Christ now stands as the ultimate mediator between God and humanity. Because God is perfectly holy, human sin creates a separation. The law exposes this reality. It reveals how far humanity falls short. So the question remains, how can imperfect people stand before a righteous God? The answer lies in the sacrifice of Jesus. Through his blood, believers are no longer judged solely by the law, but through grace. When God sees the blood of his Son, justice is fulfilled and forgiveness is granted. The Ark of the Covenant, then, is far more than an ancient artifact. It is not just a relic of biblical history. It is a powerful symbol pointing to divine justice, mercy, and redemption that still resonates today. The Ark of the Covenant carries powerful symbolism that goes far beyond its historical and religious origins. In ancient Israel, the Ark represented the very presence and unmatched power of God. It was never seen as a mere object. It was a sacred manifestation of divine authority. When the Israelites carried the Ark into battle, it was believed to bring victory, and entire cities were said to fall before them. Because of its holiness, only a select few were permitted to approach it. Anyone else who came too close risked immediate death. The Ark was housed in the most sacred space of all, the inner chamber of the temple in Jerusalem, known as the Holy of Holies. Only the high priest was allowed to enter this chamber, and even then, only once a year on the Day of Atonement. Moving or unveiling the Ark was considered an intensely sacred act. This responsibility was given exclusively to members of the tribe of Levi, specifically those descended from Aaron, the first high priest. These Levites, chosen as the priestly guardians of the covenant, were entrusted with protecting and caring for the Ark, ensuring it was treated with the highest level of reverence. To this day, the Ark of the Covenant remains one of the most powerful and mysterious symbols in all of biblical history, a representation of God's presence, his authority, and the sacred connection between heaven and earth. Handling such an object was more than a task. It was a divine responsibility. Transporting the Ark required strict rules and absolute respect. Only members of the tribe of Levi, specifically the descendants of Kohath, were authorized to carry it. Before it could be moved, the Ark had to be carefully covered according to precise instructions. It was never placed on carts or handled casually. Instead, it was carried using specially crafted poles designed for that purpose. Any failure to follow these commands was seen as a serious act of disrespect with severe, even fatal, consequences. Touching or handling the Ark without proper authority, even with good intentions, was considered a deadly mistake. Unless a person could prove they were descended from Aaron or divinely appointed for the task, even a single touch could result in instant death. One of the most powerful examples is the story of Uzzah, who reached out to steady the Ark when it appeared to be tipping over. His intentions were good, but he was struck down instantly. This moment serves as a sobering reminder of just how sacred the Ark truly was. Only the Levites, or those specifically appointed by God, were permitted to handle it. The Ark was never just a religious artifact. It symbolized God's presence and the profound spiritual bond between him and his people. Touching it wasn't simply a task. It was a sacred responsibility. Access to the Ark of the Covenant was never treated casually. ordinary interaction with it was strictly forbidden, as allowing just anyone to see or touch the ark could lead to disaster and confusion. Its holiness demanded the highest level of protection and reverence. That said, there were rare moments when God made exceptions. On certain occasions, specific individuals were allowed to approach the ark, not because of status or privilege, but because of divine purpose. These individuals were chosen to witness something sacred, and their experiences were often shared to inspire others and strengthen the faith of future generations. Their testimonies served as powerful reminders of the ark's true significance. According to biblical tradition, only members of the tribe of Levi were authorized to handle the ark. This responsibility set the Levites apart from the rest of the people of Israel. Even today, it is believed that only about 4% of Jewish people can trace their lineage back to the Levites. The Levites held a unique role among the 12 tribes. Unlike the others, they were not given their own territory in the Promised Land. Instead, they were spread throughout Israel, serving as spiritual leaders, caretakers of the tabernacle, and living examples of devotion to God. Because they didn't farm or own land, the Levites were supported through a system of tithes. The rest of the Israelites contributed 10% of their produce to sustain the Levites and support their sacred duties. Once each year, on the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur, the high priest would enter the Holy of Holies, the most sacred space within the tabernacle, and later the temple. In this deeply solemn moment, he would sprinkle the blood of a sacrificial animal onto the mercy seat, the golden lid of the Ark of the Covenant. This sacred act represented the atonement of the people's sins and the restoration of their relationship with God. It served as a powerful reminder that forgiveness and mercy stood at the very heart of the covenant between God and His people. The Ark of the Covenant functioned as a sacred bridge between God's perfect holiness and human imperfection. Inside the Ark, beneath its golden cover, the mercy seat, rested the stone tablets of the Ten Commandments, the foundation of God's law. When that law was broken, judgment followed. Yet above the law stood the mercy seat, symbolizing God's grace and His willingness to forgive those who sincerely sought atonement. The ark was far more than a religious object. It represented the living presence of God, His holiness, justice, and mercy united in one sacred symbol. Only those chosen by divine appointment, specifically members of the tribe of Levi, were permitted to approach it, ensuring the ark remained honored, protected, and sacred throughout the generations. The mercy seat and divine judgment were deeply connected. Sprinkling sacrificial blood on the mercy seat was the key act that invoked God's mercy. Through this ritual, grace was allowed to prevail over judgment, echoing the words found in James 2:13. Mercy triumphs over judgment. Without the shedding of blood, there was no atonement and no forgiveness. Because of the ark's sacred nature, God gave very specific instructions for how it was to be handled. In Exodus 25:14, He commanded that the ark be carried using wooden poles inserted through gold rings on its sides. These poles allowed the ark to be transported without being touched directly, something that was strictly forbidden. This command was taken with the utmost seriousness. Touching the ark, regardless of intention, was considered an act of disobedience. A powerful example comes from the book of 2 Samuel, when a man named Uzzah reached out to steady the ark as it appeared to be falling. Though his intentions were good, he was struck down instantly. His death served as a sobering reminder that God's instructions were not optional, and that only the designated Levites were permitted to carry the ark using the poles exactly as commanded. The Ark of the Covenant stood as a powerful symbol of the balance between God's justice and His mercy, an object of profound spiritual meaning that reflected both the seriousness of His holiness and the depth of His grace. Over the centuries, scholars, scientists, and theologians have proposed many theories about where the Ark of the Covenant might be today. One of the most enduring and widely accepted theories points to Axum, Ethiopia, specifically the Church of St. Mary of Zion. According to Ethiopian tradition, Menelik, the son of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba, visited his father in Jerusalem and later brought the ark with him to Ethiopia. It is believed that the ark has remained hidden there ever since, kept inside a small chapel near the church. The ark is said to be guarded at all times by a single monk, chosen for life. This guardian is the only person permitted to see or approach the ark, ensuring its secrecy and protection through the generations. The Ethiopian tradition and its origins. This theory is deeply woven into Ethiopia's culture, faith, and history. Across the country, many Ethiopian Orthodox churches house sacred replicas of the ark known as tabots, which symbolize their spiritual connection to the original Ark of the Covenant. Ethiopia's former emperors also claimed direct lineage from King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba, further strengthening the belief that the ark rightfully belongs on Ethiopian soil. Despite the strength of these traditions and the deep faith surrounding them, there is no independent or scientific evidence to confirm the claim. The ark has never been publicly displayed or examined by historians or archaeologists. As a result, its presence in Ethiopia remains a matter of belief and national pride rather than proven historical fact. The Copper Scroll, a different kind of clue. Among the many intriguing leads connected to the ark's possible location is the Copper Scroll, one of the most unusual discoveries among the Dead Sea Scrolls. Unlike the others, which were written on parchment or papyrus, this scroll was engraved on copper, giving it a unique place in archaeological history. The Copper Scroll lists 64 hidden locations believed to contain treasures from the temple in Jerusalem. Some researchers speculate that it may include clues related to the ark's whereabouts, possibly pointing to an area near Qumran, close to the Dead Sea, where the scroll itself was found. However, the text provides no clear maps or coordinates, leaving its meaning open to interpretation, or perhaps intentionally concealed. While some continue the search guided by research and faith, others believe the ark will only be revealed by God at the appointed time. Claims of divine encounters and hidden revelation. Throughout history, a small number of individuals have claimed to glimpse the ark through divine encounters, suggesting that its presence may occasionally be revealed as a sign from above. This raises an even larger question. If the ark were truly found, would God allow it to be revealed to the world? One of the most well-known modern claims comes from explorer Ron Wyatt, who said he physically saw the Ark of the Covenant. However, he also claimed that a supernatural event prevented him from photographing it or collecting physical evidence. Without documentation, his account remains surrounded by mystery and skepticism. Wyatt later stated that when he attempted to return to the site, he encountered 4 angels who told him the world was not yet ready to witness the Ark. The absence of photographs or video has only deepened the mystery, adding yet another layer to one of history's most enduring spiritual legends, the Ark's hidden purpose. Some biblical interpretations suggest that the Ark of the Covenant is meant to remain hidden until a future time, possibly when a universal divine law is established across the world. Until then, the Ark remains not just a lost artifact, but a powerful symbol of faith, mystery, and divine timing. Until that time, only those specially chosen by God were permitted to see or touch the Ark. To fully grasp its significance, we must return to its final mention in the Old Testament. According to 2 Chronicles 35:3, during the reign of King Josiah around 630 BC, the Levites, who were responsible for teaching and guiding the people of Israel, were instructed to place the Holy Ark inside the temple built by King Solomon. This moment marks the last clear reference to the Ark of the Covenant in the biblical record. The Ethiopian Connection, a legendary journey. One of the most enduring theories linking the Ark to Ethiopia comes from a 14th century Ethiopian national epic known as the Kebra Nagast, or the Glory of Kings. According to this ancient text, the Queen of Sheba visited King Solomon in the 10th century BCE. From their union, a son was born, Menelik I. As a young man, Menelik traveled to Jerusalem to meet his father. Although King Solomon wanted him to remain in Israel, Menelik chose to return to Ethiopia. But he did not leave alone. A group of young nobles, unwilling to return empty-handed, secretly took something of immense spiritual importance with them, the Ark of the Covenant. By the time Solomon realized the Ark was missing, it was already too late. Menelik had departed, carrying the sacred object to Aksum, Ethiopia, where it was placed under his protection. With the Ark by his side, Menelik expanded his influence, conquered surrounding lands, and laid the foundation for what would eventually become the Ethiopian Empire. This story, preserved in the Kebra Nagast, is deeply woven into Ethiopia's national identity and spiritual heritage. The legacy of the Ark of the Covenant. The Solomonic dynasty ruled Ethiopia until 1974, claiming direct descent from King Solomon and Menelik I. Emperor Haile Selassie upheld this lineage, which was even written into Ethiopia's constitution. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church teaches that the Ark of the Covenant is hidden within the Church of St. Mary of Zion in Aksum, guarded by a single virgin monk who dedicates his entire life to protecting it. While the Ark itself has never been publicly seen or verified, every Ethiopian Orthodox Church possesses a tablet, a sacred replica kept in the Holy of Holies and revealed only during special religious ceremonies. These replicas are treated with the highest reverence, symbolizing the enduring presence of the original Ark. A mystery that endures. The true location of the Ark of the Covenant remains unknown. Some believe it still exists, hidden and waiting to be revealed. Others believe its deeper purpose was fulfilled through the resurrection of Jesus Christ. The image of two angels at Christ's empty tomb mirrors the cherubim on the Ark's mercy seat, symbolizing redemption and humanity's restored relationship with God. Whether hidden or fulfilled, the Ark of the Covenant continues to inspire awe, faith, and mystery. So what do you think? Is the Ark still out there, waiting to be found? Or has its meaning already been revealed through Christ? Share your thoughts below and subscribe for more fascinating stories.